All right, Regis Prograis is a two-time 140-pound champion. On Saturday, he will attempt to take the first step towards a third world title reign when he takes on Jack Catterall in Manchester, England. No belts on the line in this one, but the winner will be in a good position to fight for one in 2025, and Regis Prograis is back on the show. So here we are, Regis, about 10 months removed from that loss to Devin Haney. You're back in England, haven't fought there since that close decision defeat to Josh Taylor several years ago. Is this the fight you wanted? Is this where you want to be? How are you feeling about all this?
I feel good. Honestly, brother, at first I felt like everything was kind of going against me when they first signed it, but then it's now I just feel like everything is set up for me. I don't know why. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I feel like everything is set up for me right now. It's just like everything is going in my favor. I feel very confident, and my confidence is growing by the day. I feel calm. I feel more relaxed. I haven't felt like this in a while, but this is a fight that I wanted for a long time. We talked about this fight maybe like 3 years ago. Me and him talked about this fight together, and when they said it, I was like, yeah, that's fine, we can do it. And then after that, I remember they said that he was looking to go to Teofimo way. Obviously that didn't happen, and they brought it back up, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then um he he got injured. Supposedly he got injured, and then they said it was canceled. And now we back here again. So yeah.
Yeah, you two there's some similarities in your career paths in that both you guys have had some kind of hard luck over the years getting the fights you wanted, being as active as you wanted. He, of course, was chasing Josh Taylor for a long time before he got
hmm
that fight, and then he won that rematch. When over the last 8 or 9 months, what were some of the options that you were looking at? What were some of the fights that you were hoping to get earlier that maybe fell through?
The biggest thing was the Matias fight. I thought me and Matias was going to fight. Me and him went back and forth for a long time, and I was very tuned into his fight. And then Liam Paro beat him. So after that, I don't want Matias no more. I want to fight Liam Paro. And I thought I was gonna get the Liam Paro fight because I was when I was the WBC champion, I was gonna fight him in New Orleans. And
Mm-hmm.
then so I'm thinking, all right, fine. If he didn't, that make even more sense than Matias. Let's get the Liam Paro fight. And then they told me that's not gonna happen. So it's like, all right, if that's not gonna happen, then what's next? And they told me about the Catterall fight. It's like, oh, okay, fine. We were supposed to fight a long time ago. I think that's a very good option for me. And yeah, let's do it. And now we're here.
What were you thinking watching Liam Paro beat Subriel Matias in the way he did? Paro was a big underdog coming into that fight. He was
Mhm.
fighting in the hometown of Matias, which you can understand does bring a lot of pressure to it. I do think being there in Puerto Rico, the fact that he had to fight in front of his home fans and all that came with it had an impact on Matias. But what were you thinking watching Paro win the way he did?
It was a surprise. Honestly, it was a surprise. But one of my friends at the time, he said, "Look, Power gonna beat him." He said, "Watch this, Power's gonna win." And I was like, "You think so?" He was like, "I'm telling you, Power's gonna beat him." For me, I never thought Matias was this big killer that everybody was saying he was. I never thought it. I think he's a big puncher, but somebody that can move and stuff like that, they gonna beat him. And Power beat him. So it wasn't it was a shock. It was a surprise to me, but it wasn't a big shock because I mean, like I said, I never thought Matias was actually that good, that big killer that everybody was making him out to be. So no, it wasn't. Like I said, I thought he still was supposed to pull it off, but I thought it was gonna be a hard fight.
You're 35 years old, which raises the obvious question in the aftermath of the Haney loss is what does Regis Prograis have left? How would you answer that question?
You'll see on Saturday. That's the main thing. You'll have to see on Saturday. Listen, I know
But
people
did
talk
you
about.
question yourself though, Regis? Like after the way you lost to Haney, like were
Mhm.
there any questions in your mind, like not to borrow the Teofimo line after his fight against Sandro Martin, but were there any kind of like, do I still have it questions for you?
You always have to ask yourself that, but then I went to gym and I still can perform. I still can do all the same things. So for me, the Haney thing was more mental than anything, and I understand that. Camp. I mean, we don't have enough time to talk about what happened and all. I'll bring up the details all that one day, but it was more for me. It was more of a mental thing than anything. But nah, physical, I can still do all the same stuff I do. I still can train. Actually, for this camp, I was training like at first 4 times a day. And I thought that was a little too much. And my coach was like, yeah, that might be a little too much. And then I brought it to 3 times a day. And like I could still do all the stuff. And with this camp, I was just really the same thing I'm going through right now. I was really calm. I was really loose. I was really relaxed. I was really calm. And I had fun this camp. And I mean, I sparred with the sparring basically without saying too much, the sparring went very well. This whole like almost this whole camp. Sometimes I dress sparring like, damn, I don't feel like sparring a day. And every day was just a like really, really good day in sparring. I mean, I sparring people like 190. Some of course you had to spar smaller people, that was around, Jack size and stuff. But a lot of times I sparring people way bigger and I don't want to say too much in sparring, but it was good days.
Was there a significant change you had to make after that Haney fight? Because it wasn't just the Haney fight, right? Like it was that fight against Zaria, which you won, but you were the first to admit was not your best performance. Then comes the Haney fight. Like in the aftermath, was there a significant change you had to make either to the way you trained, to the people you trained with? Was there a change there?
Yes, it definitely was a train. It was a change. So from the Zorilla fight, one thing I did make a mistake in doing, I changed up my assistant coach and I made him my head coach. It was Julian in LA, and I made him my head coach, and which is I should never did that. I think that was a mistake going into the Devin fight. Um, and the main thing is just getting back to being me and living like a fighter. That's one of the main things. And like I said, we don't have enough time to talk about the Haney camp, but for that, I wasn't living like a fighter. I wasn't living clean like I was supposed to live. Like for me, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, but you have to still, in camp, you have to live like a fighter the whole time, and I wasn't doing that. So I just changed, like I said, I changed all that, and I don't have so many distractions. And just like I said, the first thing I said to where at first I thought this was a bad thing coming over to somebody's home, not just a home city, but a home country. But I'm super relaxed because I don't have no distractions. In San Francisco, it was like a party. Everybody around me, it was like a party. It was like I already won. After the whole fight week, it was like I already won. Same thing in New Orleans. When I was out there, it was like a big old party. Like out here, I don't have it's not a party. I'm in my room by myself. My wife is on the way here, but I'm in my room by myself. It's not like that no more. So and it's just, and this is the way I came up. And even my coach is very calm. Everybody around me is very calm. My nutritionist, he's been with me for a few years, and he said that himself. He said, like, I never, this is what I seen before when I first started working with you. This is what I seen before with you. It's just like being real calm and just being real relaxed and no distractions. And that's why I feel good here. And I told my coach that today we went running this morning. I told him like, man, I think I want to fight on the road for the rest of my career. Just keep fighting on the road now because fighting other people's home country because I don't have no distractions at all. I mean, I'm super bored, and that's a very bad emotion for me sometimes. But at the same time, I understand. I'm used to it for fight week. I get to just sit in the hotel room and just watch TV. I read a lot. I watch YouTube and sleep, and that's the only thing I'm doing. And I'm living like a fighter. And I think that's I have to just get back to that.
I did think, to touch on something you said a moment ago, I did think the coaching decisions you made were interesting going into that Haney fight because you had been with Bobby Benton for a long time. You bring in Julian Chua, very smart guy. Don't get me wrong. Julian's a very good coach. But I know Sergio Mora talked about this during fight week and maybe even on the broadcast. There is a such thing at times as too many cooks in the kitchen. Like you need one voice. And I did wonder if, at times were you processing maybe different information in that corner? You're familiar with the voice of Bobby. You trust and like Julian. What do you think that was an issue on fight night?
It definitely was. It was even an issue in camp the whole time, because what happened was so I know it was, and I know it was a slap in the face to Bobby because I told him I was like, imagine you the head the whole time, and then you somebody else tell you, all right, he's the head now, and I did that. I made the mistake of doing that, and even in camp the whole time, they had two different plans. Like they literally had two different plans on how we was gonna approach the fight. So. Bobby told me one plan and Julian told me the other plan. Obviously, Julian was the head coach, so I was going with his plan. And I think that was, yeah, hindsight, looking back on it, at first when I was going through it, I thought that was a good thing to do. But hindsight, you looking back, it's like, all right, that was the wrong thing to do. I should have just kept, the same thing I've been doing the whole time. I would let I would go to LA for about 2 weeks and train with Julie, and then I would go back to Houston for the rest of 6 weeks and then train and finish our training camp and then stay with Bobby. But that time, yeah, I just changed everything up.
Yeah, especially for a fight of that magnitude. If you were taking kind of a tune-up fight, maybe incorporating a new voice would have made more sense. But a fight like
Right.
that big, where you have to be perfect, it did
Mhm.
strike me as strange. So you've kind of streamlined all that. Bobby is back. He's in your corner. He's working fight night.
Yes, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby's the head trainer, and I still talk to Julian, but he won't be attending this fight this time. I
Mhm.
think he got
Okay.
Zerto's about to fight coming up, so yeah, he can't
Yeah.
make it anyway.
Riyadh season, baby. Latino night
Yeah,
over in
yeah,
Riyadh
let's see his
season.
last
That's what we're
Southern.
talking about.
Uh-huh.
One thing I wondered after the Haney loss was, would you move up in weight? I mean, you have been with a few exceptions, a career long 140 pounder. The last 8 years, all along, you've been fighting at 140 pounds. How much consideration did you give to moving up in weight?
None. I always said I want to be a champion. The first time I was a champion, I said I'm gonna do it again, and I promised myself I was gonna be a two-time champion. It took me 3 years to be a champion again, and I was like, all right, well, I guess now I'm gonna be a three-time champion. So that's my goal now, to be a three-time champion. I feel like I want to be, man. Marvin Hagler is one of my favorite fighters, and I want to be like, be like him. He was a middleweight his whole career. He
Mm.
never changed. He was a middleweight. So I want to do the same thing. Be a three-time champion. Then after, I feel like after I'm a three-time champion, then I feel like I will have peace and I can move on. And maybe not to up to a different division, but maybe to a different sport.
Mhm. I'm guessing you're meaning MMA as the different sport.
Maybe bare knuckle. Maybe bare knuckle.
Oh, okay. Bare knuckles catching on these
I
days.
know, that's what I'm saying. Once I get the belt again, three-time champion, then it's like, all right, I can really demand some big money over in bare knuckles. So that's what I'm kind of looking at that. One of my friends, Austin Trout, he's over there. He's making
That's
good
right.
money over there, and he's actually a champion. And we all train together in the same gym. It's like, damn, like I kind of like that idea too. But I still have in the back of my mind, I still want to be a champion again.
At this stage of your career, every fight is incredibly important. But I was like, Adam Azim just won a fight. And the first thing he said after that fight was, I want to fight Regis Prograis, which those aren't the fights you want, right? Like, you don't want to be in, like, as the veteran with a name going up against the 20-something-year-old trying to add your name to his resume. Like, this fight feels incredibly important for your boxing career.
Yeah, of course, and it is. I think it is, and that's why. I mean, this is why I want to take this fight because it's a very important fight, and I feel like after this I wouldn't have to build myself back up for 3 years again to get another
Mm.
title shot. I mean, right after it'll probably be right back, and if I go out there and perform like I did in sparring, it'll be people be I'll be probably be known right back again as the best 140 pounder in the world. So I just want to go do that and um, yeah, just get right back in line for a title shot again, and it won't be that long. It won't take 3 years again to get another title. It'll be, hopefully in 2025.
No, I think it could happen pretty quickly. I mean, you got the Paro Hitchens fight in December in Puerto Rico. You'd be a natural opponent for the winner of that fight, and there are other belts is out there as
Mhm.
well. Before I let you go, I know there's no love lost between you and the Haneys, but you are also a staunch advocate for testing in boxing, for a
Right.
clean sport. You were very vocal recently about the fact that VADA had not come and tested you with the frequency that you would have liked. I saw you said recently as well, like, they finally picked it up after you put that stuff out there into the
Mhm.
world. I want to get your opinion on this Devin Haney lawsuit. He is suing Ryan Garcia for battery, citing the positive drug test. You feel like a good arbiter for all this because you don't like the Haneys, but you hate drugs in sports. So where do you stand on a fighter suing an opponent who tests positive for a banned substance?
I mean, I think that's weak, man. Just listen. The only thing you do, suing somebody for battery, you a professional fighter. I think Oscar said I saw Oscar's clap back there. There's actually Oscar. He is actually funny. He puts me in the video that I lost, but it's actually a funny thing he does that. But yeah, man, that's one of the weakest things you could ever do. Suing a fighter for battery is like that's what you do. Obviously, you want it clean, but they had way worse, man. I don't whatever he had in what they said in the system was so small it won't do nothing. I mean, I don't think that what he had in the system, I don't think that it caused the damage to Devin Haney. And but just think of the Warriors that came before. I mean, look at like somebody like Miguel Cotto that got beat down by Margarito, which probably had plaster in his gloves.
Mm.
That's way more damage. Like, what if he did that back in the day? I mean, I think that, one thing I know from facing them, I know that Bill Haney is really, he's the quarterback of everything. He's clever. He's a very clever person, and it's a route. He's doing this for a reason, but I can't see the reason right now because I think that makes Devin. I really think it makes Devin look bad. Like to sue a fighter for battery. I mean, that's you just don't do that. Just get a clean all you do is get a clean rematch. That's all you do. If you fight somebody you feel like they was dirty, all right, cool. He already got the loss erased off his record. That should be good enough, right? Now you trying to sue somebody for battery. I think that's just weak. That's like super weak. Anybody that does that, it should be looked at like, just a very, very weak individual. So I just think the main thing you do is have a rematch. That's all. All you do is have a rematch. Like I said, for me, I can go back to Miguel Cotto with Antonio Margarito. Antonio Margarito beat the hell out of Cotto with those, if he had loaded gloves or not, but most likely he probably did. And he beat the hell out of him. And Cotto just came back. He got brutalized in that fight, and he just came back and he beat him. That's what he did. That's what a truly great fighter does. You just come, all right, you beat me like this, cool. I want a rematch. Let me get a clean rematch. You have that in the back of your mind and do that. So, I just think that's going the wrong. That's going the wrong route. But at the same time, I know Bill is doing it for a reason, but I can't see the reason right now.
The only counter argument I would make, and Sergio agrees with you, and a lot of fighters agree with you. My question is like, state commissions and sanctioning bodies just aren't doing shit, Regis, when these guys test positive. I mean, I think New York did a pretty good job. Like, I thought a 1-year suspension for Ryan was reasonably fair. But you go back to Oscar Valdez testing positive and his fight going on. In the women's game, Alicia Baumgartner testing positive, no repercussions whatsoever. Like, there's just, if a lawsuit will make fighters think twice about using banned substances, isn't it worth it? I mean, that's kind of where I'm not a fighter, but that's kind of where I come down on it.
I mean, I think you ban them. You ban them or take money. I think the one of the biggest things you could do is, hit somebody where it hurts, and the way it hurts is the pockets. I guess the lawsuit thing is the pockets, but I mean to ban to sue somebody for battery, in a professional fighter, I don't see it. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think that just have a rematch or ban them. Ryan Garcia had a 1-year suspension. Do that. Do that to if somebody gets caught, ban them for 1 year and take some money from them. And then if they see that, it's like, all right, they'll do it. But to sue somebody, it's just going a whole different route. It's just a route that us as fighters, we just kind of don't believe in that. Most of us grew up a certain way and we don't believe suing people. It's just like, man, let's fight again. You cheated me. All right, let's do it again. Let's do it the clean way.
Well, Regis, good luck on Saturday. Jack Catterall, Manchester, live on DAZN. Who do you think Eddie Hearn is pulling for in this fight? You're both
I'm pretty sure Jack Catterall. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's his boy, But listen, the thing is with Eddie, like, I don't know if I should say it or not, man. Eddie, a lot of Eddie's fighters been losing. That's the thing, So it's like maybe Eddie has a curse on him. I don't know. Maybe he does have some type of curse on because, even like Oscar said, like a lot of Eddie, like, and I'm still with Matchroom too, but I know he's pulling for him, and you can tell Eddie is the type of person he wears everything. He wears his feelings on his sleeve, so you can tell who he's pulling for. But if you really think about, a lot of Eddie's fighters who he's been rooting for, a lot of them been losing. So that might be a good thing that he's rooting for Jack Catterall. If he is, I'm pretty sure he is. That's his boy, and that's his boy out here. They're from the same country, so of course, obviously, he was, and he was rooting for, with me, he was rooting for Devin too. That was his, that was his boy, and then they got into it. So, it is what it is.
Hey, as long as you get paid off it, man, and a win would certainly push you right back into that world title picture. 2-time champion, Regis Prograis, looking to become a 3-time champion sometime in 2025. Regis, good luck, man. Always good to talk to you.
All right, man. Thank you.